Morning, YouTube. Poppy here, coming to you from the porch, Western North Carolina. Gray day. Temperatures probably in the mid 70s today. We're finally starting to see a little bit of autumnal. Yeah, right. It's starting to be fall, and I'm so looking forward to it. I'm ready for the colors to change. I'm ready for the heat and humidity to go away. Um, Although truly in Western North Carolina, in the foothills, close to the mountains here, I can't really say that we have the really miserable weather that other people in the deep south frequently have. But anyway, no particular agenda for today, just some idle thoughts as I'm sitting here smoking this morning. Got some GLPs, and I'm smoking it in my Medley. It's Canadian, obviously. Um, and I've had this pipe for probably 30, 35 years. And it was made in England, but that's all I can tell you about it. It's a good smoke. I like the length of it. Smoking some GLPs and Barcadero, which is a really, really rich smoke. Virginia, and we can see this or not, kind of a broken flake. Virginia and some Izmir, uh, Oriental tobaccos, pressed, cut, broken. Um, a great smoke. I mean, I probably could smoke this all day long, except that's all I have of it, so I trade off between other things. But I will definitely be getting more of this. GLPs and Barcadero came to me as a recommendation when I was looking for a replacement for a McClellan blend from a fellow over on Facebook on the Old Codgers Smoking Pipes group over there. So thank you to him. I wish I could remember his name. Probably should go back and try and find that post so I could thank him personally. One of the things I was thinking about this morning, as I was lighting out my Canadian, was how my taste in pipes have changed over the years. Back when I was a lad, hard to believe when I say that I ever really was. I like the Umpal style. I like them hanging straight down. I didn't, the only people that smoked straight pipes like this were old codgers. Well, fast forward 40 years, and guess what I am? I'm a codger. And my tastes have changed over time. And even over the last year, I've been noticing I like this kind of intermediate length. You've noticed probably me smoking before. I've got a number of those Missouri Meerschaums, the Cobbett style, kind of the bent acorn. It's not quite a church warden. Um, Still clenchable, although I don't do that a whole lot. Um, but the length is good. The smoke isn't right in my face. I can still get the aroma from the bowl as it's burning. Um, and usually when I'm smoking, my hands are free, so I don't need to have a clencher. Um, I found a long time ago that trying to smoke a pipe and do something meticulous with my hands just wasn't going to be a skill set I was ever going to acquire, so I just stopped trying to do it. So anyway, I kind of like this intermediate length. Like I said, not a church warden, but it's not. I still like my short pipes. I still smoke my briars, um, and I like kind of a semi-curve, an author shape, bent author, or a bent bulldog, bent pot. Probably are my favorite shapes to smoke. Tend to like a bigger bowl. You probably can tell it's really kind of a medium-sized bowl, um, but usually no smaller than this. So I still like smoking the shorter pipes because I've had so many of them for so long, and they're just such good smoking pieces of wood that I'm certainly not going to give them up while I draw breath. The other thing I was thinking about, and I've been thinking about this for quite a while, I built a reasonable cellar of tobaccos in the last year. Once I got familiar with some of the online retailers. Don't ask me why it took me about 20 years to figure out that those guys were out there. And for a long time, I just smoked over the counter because I didn't have a tobacco shop around me. And suddenly, I've got pipes and cigars. You've heard me talk about them and some of their blends. Smoking pipes is great stuff. Um, Four Noggins I've been to, Mars Cigars. I mean, there's just a lot of tobacco pipes is another one that I've shopped with. As the truck goes by on the road out front, I really probably ought to do this in the back, but that's okay. This is kind of my morning spot because I come out here and I feed the birds and I sit and drink a cup of coffee and watch the birds and smoke a morning bowl. Not every morning, but frequently. Anyway, so I've acquired a fair amount of tobaccos. I think one other video I had talked about, I have somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 5 or 6 years of future smoking if I never bought another ounce stored up in my basement, which I think at my age is a reasonably optimistic time frame. I'm 64 years old, and I have acquired enough tobacco to smoke until I'm 70. But I got to thinking about why do we do this? I mean, why do you guys, and I've seen people that have just huge cellars, much more extensive than mine. How much of it is tobacco acquisition disorder, um, which I've flirted with. Pipe acquisition disorder, certainly. I've done that over the years. But why do I want to have that much tobacco around? Part of it, obviously, is with the vagaries of the business, people going in and out of business, the FDA regulations in my country, which I think are still playing out, and we don't really still know for sure where that's going to end up. The ability to buy tobacco now at prices that probably we'll never see again, because nothing else in the world gets cheaper that I'm aware of. It just seems to get more and more expensive. I don't see tobacco being any different, that the prices will continue to go up. But then also, many of us believe that an aged tobacco is maybe a more pleasing smoke than one that's just fresh from the factory. I certainly think so. Imagine many of you do too. So I started thinking about, okay, when I age tobacco in a tin versus aging tobacco in a jar. Like I buy bulk blends and I'll put them in a jar. Some of them have been sitting on the shelf for months. Which one actually is going to age more quickly? I guess is kind of my question to myself. And in thinking through it, I'm thinking a tin tobacco, one that's been vacuum sealed and all the air removed from it, it's probably going to take a lot longer to get to its full ripeness, if we want to call it that, than the same blend hand packed by me into a mason jar and then the lid screwed down on it. It would be interesting to run an experiment to say buy 8 ounces of my favorite bulk blend, put 4 of them in jars, and 4 ounces each individually, separate ounces. Vacuum pack them. I think you can buy those little vacuum sealing things that you put your food in the freezer with. Probably would work. And I say bulk because I think it would be cheaper, although not all the blends that I like are available in bulk. But there are enough that I could do something like this. And then every year on the anniversary, pull out one of the vacuum sealed, which is the equivalent of a tin, and pull out one of the jarred ounces and smoke them both and kind of see over the course of, say, 4 years or 5 years or however many ounces in total you bought, just to see what the changes would be and which one would seem to be aging and mellowing more quickly. You know, my theory is that it would be the one that is most exposed to air. Air is what causes things to age more quickly. Oxidation. You know, if you take a piece of iron bar and spray water on it and set it up in the corner of the garage or outdoors somewhere, it's going to rust fairly quickly. If you take that same piece of iron bar and submerge it in a tub of water, it's going to take a lot longer, um, which is why we still have shipwrecks in the bottom of the ocean that we can go explore. Well, not we. I don't do that sort of thing actually, but that people do, and that are still relatively intact because while they're submerged in water, they're still not exposed to the amount of oxygen that they would be if they were sitting on dry land, having rainstorms and things like that, and being exposed to water in that fashion. So anyway, one of you younger fellas that is interested in the scientific method, James at Yorkshire Posse, I'm kind of thinking of you on this. You have an interest in factual information, an appreciation for it. Um, Try something like that and just kind of see. You know, it may be smart of me to take some of my tins, crack them open, and commit them to a mason jar, and let them age more quickly that way if you know, think I'm going to want to smoke them anytime in the near future, year, 2 years, whatever. Anyway, that's enough babbling for Tuesday morning. It is, yeah, it is Tuesday morning. Um, and I appreciate you guys coming around and subbing me, quiet friends. Thanks always for listening in. I hope everybody has a great week this week, and that you're enjoying your autumn weather. I hope you're getting some, whatever you get for your part of the country. And hope to see you guys soon. I appreciate it. As always, please be kind and peace, everybody.